Shalom. First, giving all acknowledgement to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Dumb honors to my teachers, beginning with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the Akim out there presenting their bodies, a living sacrifice to make sure this truth is preached throughout the four corners of the earth. Just scrolling through some articles, just looking for something to get into. I'm gonna read this article, a little bit of this article, real quick, and I want to bring out a point real quick. So I came across this on the Guardian. It's dealing with this whole COVID-19 vaccine, right? Which which we know, it's all going to lead up to them issuing these chips, all right, which is the mark of the beast. But just want to get into this article real quick, and I'm going to get into the whole reason of this video. So start from the beginning. It says COVID-19 vaccine may not work for at-risk older people, say scientists. All right. It says a vaccine against COVID-19 may not work well in older people who are most at risk of becoming seriously ill and dying from the disease, say scientists, which may mean immunizing others around them, such as children. All right. It says Professor Peter Openshaw from Imperial, one of the members of the UK's SAGE scientific advisory subgroup, NERVTAG, told the House of Lords Science and Technology Committee it was this week considering a paper on targeting different groups in the population with vaccines. Sometimes it is possible to protect a vulnerable group by targeting another group, and this, for example, is being done with influenza, he said. In the past 5 years, the UK has been at the forefront of rolling out the live attenuated vaccine for children, giving the nasal spray flu vaccine to children who do not often get severe flu protects their grandparents, he said. Immunizing health and care workers who are likely to be the first to get the vaccine would also help protect older people who have the most contact with them. All right. It says Arnie Akbar, professor of immunology at UCL and president of the British Society of Immunology, says scientists needed to work out what goes wrong with the immune system as people get older. One thing that's apparent, even in healthy older people, is that there's more inflammation all around the body. We need to understand where the inflammation is coming from, he said. And this baseline inflammation in older people is linked to frailty and many negative outcomes as we get older. And this seems to be exacerbated when you get a severe infection like COVID-19. It says, but what is the source of the inflammation in the first place? That's something that we really need to get to grips with. It says Akbar says something else might be needed alongside with vaccine for older people, such as the steroid drug dexamethasone, which can block the inflammation caused by the virus and has been shown to save lives in COVID-19 so far. So for older people, you might have something like an anti-inflammatory drug, like maybe dexamethasone together with vaccine responses to give you the maximum benefit. Just the vaccine alone will help the younger people, and that will be good because then if the younger people are not infected, they won't spread it to the older people, but it won't directly help the older people very much. And they're the people that are having the most severe diseases right now. So pretty much, man, what I wanted to get into in this video, because clearly you see, they were really trying to push for these vaccines, individuals getting vaccines, and, wouldn't be surprised if, they start making the vaccines mandatory because, again, it's not about more so the vaccine, but it's more so about the chip, which is the mark of the beast, which, again, everything's leading to this chip, that's including this vaccine. But pretty much, like I said, they're really pushing this idea of, everyone getting vaccinated, right? But more so, They want to chip younger people, or excuse me, they want to vaccine younger people and children. According to this article, because it'll pretty much um it won't spread it more so to these to the older people. But what I want to get into in this video is pretty much how um you know because everything Esau does, he does it on the left hand side, with the spiritual wisdom given to him by the spiritual demon Satan on the left hand. All right, because here it is, you got the natural herbs and you know um different foods and things of that nature that they have different healing effects on the body, right? Pretty much everything on the right hand side. But again, when it comes to Esau and his technology and his medicines and his food supplies and everything that he wants to do, um, is pretty much dealing with the spiritual wickedness on the left hand. All right, and at the end of the day, pretty much what I'm saying is is pretty much it's all witchcraft on the left hand. All right, and that's including these these vaccines. The information has come out dealing with these vaccines, the vaccinations. Um, Pretty much, the things that they have, the things that these vaccines contain. Aborted baby fecal matter and uh, you know human blood cells and all type of abominable things that shouldn't be going into the body. But again, when it comes to Esau and his vaccinations, and it's not more than witchcraft. All right, so and at the end of the day, this is why Yahweh Bashim Shah has to completely destroy this place because um, well, let me get that later. I don't want to jump the gun, but Revelations 18 and 23. It says, "And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee." Trying to see if this is the right one. Yeah. Revelations 18:23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. All right, and what I want to get into, the point I want to get out of this verse is where it says, that thy sorceries, because Esau, he's pretty much deceived all these different nations. He's deceived the whole world with his witchcraft. All right, and a big part of that is this um you know these pharmaceutical companies and whatnot. All right, and matter of fact, I think if you go to the word and you look it up, the Blue Letter Bible, of course. I think the word there, yeah, it's pharmakia.
Strong's G 5331. Pharmakia. Pharmakia.
Yeah, exactly. Which is where you get the word pharmacy from. Again, which is where they you know issue out all the different medications and things of that nature. All right. That's what that word the pharmacies come. That's where these pharmacies come from, and it's nothing but witchcraft. All right. If you look up that definition, it says the use or the administering of drugs. You see that? Poisoning, sorcery, magic arts often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. All right. So again, when it comes to these different vaccinations and these different drugs that Esau pushes you to get, it's nothing but witchcraft. All right. And this is you know with everything that Esau does, they make these different pharmaceutical drugs or whatnot. But what they don't show you behind closed doors is a lot of times they make these drugs or whatnot. They Um, they do all type of ritual sacrifices, and they pray to the spiritual demon Satan. They casting spells and all type of just satanic rituals. All right. That's why a lot of people they're hooked on these things, and a lot of times with these different vaccinations or whatnot, a lot of people end up getting more sick. They end up getting more sick. All right. And a lot of times, taking these different vaccinations and these pills and things of that nature. In most cases, a lot of cases, just dealing with these vaccines, a lot of times the actual disease is in the vaccine, right? That's why a lot of children there, um, they grow up with all type of um, what is it? Always the name always slips me. Um, Not Alzheimer's, autism and things like that, right? Because from the from birth, um, these parents are just doping them up and just getting these kids vaccinated. You know, that's why for the most part, a lot of these kids, they grow up with these problems or whatnot because all they get is these vaccinations. Putting this poison in the body. All right. But again, it all goes back to witchcraft. This whole system of America is based off witchcraft. All right. And again, that's why this whole place has to be destroyed because, the scriptures tell you that, suffer not a witch to live. And again, this whole place is based off witchcraft. You know, so this whole place has to go. It has to go up in flames. All right. Um, Real quick, you can go to Isaiah the 13th chapter in verse. I start at verse 1 just to show that this is dealing with Babylon, but more so the precepts. America is spiritually known as Babylon. All right, America is Babylon. Starting at verse 1, it says, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see." Again, just showing that this is talking about Babylon, aka America. All right, and jumping down to verse 19, it says, "In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." All right, because if in ancient Babylon, um, like I said, because everything that Esau does, um, he does in mimic of in mimic of the right hand. So just like on the right hand, you had the high priest, and those that issue out the laws, the specific order that was set up on the right hand. Esau, he mimics that on the left hand. But in ancient Babylon, you had these these set of you could say high priests, which were that's when it talks about these Chaldeans. All right, they're pretty much they were witches or warlocks. All right, um, where's that let me go to I think it's Isaiah 47, because when you read about Nebuchadnezzar, he dealt. Let me just get it. Isaiah 47, and let's start at verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." All right. So again, when you read about Nebuchadnezzar during ancient Babylon, he had these pretty much these high priests. All right, and they dealt with witchcraft and pretty much wisdom on the left hand. All right, they were into a you know you when you studied when you study these things, they were into a lot of weird, pretty much weird things. All right, and this is where Esau, they get this, they picked up these customs, because you always say that Esau, he's not an originator. All the gods that they serve, these were gods of old. These go way back from the beginning. All right, so just like back then, you had, again, using the ancient Babylonians and Nebuchadnezzar, and him having, his wicked high priest, all right, the wise men, as it's talked about in the Bible, all right, it's no different today, all right. Esau, they gather up their most, um, you know, um, how do I say it? They get together their own wise men, all right. These different scientists or whatnot, because these scientists are not more than just witches and warlocks, all right. On the left hand, then they come up with all these different things and whatnot, right? That's how they are able to come up with these pharmaceutical companies and things of that nature. They cast all type of spells and just all sorts of manner of wickedness. All right, we jump down to verse. Um, let's start at verse 9. It says, "But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day: the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments." All right. So because again, that's what that's what Esau does. They depend on their enchantments. Again, they do all type of sacrifices and rituals. All right. Conjuring up demonic spirits. All right. Casting all type of spells and things of that nature. This is what they do. All right. This whole place of America is based off sorcery, witchcraft. All right. Um, Let me just read on down to verse 10. It says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, None seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said, In thine heart I am, and none else beside me." All right. Because again, yeah, man, Esau, you know, um, again, through their technology and, they're different, um, just pretty much, their witchcraft. That's how they're able to come up, with these different technologies and things of that nature. All right. um, the Revelations talks about how they're able to pretty much um, give life to the image of the beast, right? And it's through their technology, but more so it's through their witchcraft. All right, it's through the sorceries. All right, again, they channel up all these different um, or conjure up all these different demonic spirits and things of that nature. All right. um, and that's again, that's how they deceive the whole world with their sorcery. All right. But the world, is breaking out of that spell. All right. And that's why you see, Esau, pretty much the world is coming up against him. All right. Even Esau is coming up against Esau. All right. um let's start from verse 12. It says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit it, if so be thou mayest prevail." Read that again. "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail." So again, because again, even when Yahushua shows up, Yahushua and all the angels show up, they're gonna look to um, they're gonna being that Esau, he trusts in his wickedness, he trusts in his wisdom. All right, which the scriptures tell you that the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. All right, but just to show Esau, they depend on these pretty much their witchcraft. They depend on it. Right, they trust in the wickedness, as the scripture said. All right, reading on down, it says, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee." All right, then let me just read on. It says, "Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be able to cold. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander everyone to his quarter, none shall save thee. So again, at the end of the day, um, because the Lord is challenging them, um, because again, if you go to Isaiah 19, um, starting at verse 1, it says, "The burden of Egypt, behold," and again, America is spiritually known as Egypt. All right, there's that Revelations 11. It says, "Behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his burden, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards." All right, so again, when Yahweh Shai shows up in that major chariot, that big chariot with all the other angels, Esau, he's going to turn to, um, you know, these, he's going to try to turn to his witchcraft, but it's going to fail him. All right, because ultimately, the Heavenly Father, He's in control of all these things. All right, all the spirits on the left hand, they pay their respects, their homage to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, the all the demonic spirits on the left hand, um, they fear the Heavenly Father and His Son. All right, they're that, but this is something that Esau doesn't get. You know, he doesn't understand these things because, of course, he's a carnal being. But the devils, man, they bow down to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So of course, in that day, when he looks to turn to his witchcraft, it's gonna fail him in that day. All right, but real quick, go to what is that? What did I want? Galatians 5 and starting at 19. It tells you, "Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft." All right, now again, when you look this up, witchcraft, it's the same thing.
Strong's G 5331. Pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals.
So it's the same thing as yeah, the use with the administering of drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magic arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. So it's the same thing in with the first precept that I brought out on Revelations 18 and 23. It's the same thing. All right. This is what they use, and it's not for any so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian to be indulging in these things, which a lot of our people, they're into these things as well. But again, it's not forced to be indulging in these things. All right. Um, but nevertheless, um, because again, these so-called, scientists and magicians and whatnot, they're not but witches and warlocks. All right, and this has been going on from the very beginning. Going to Exodus 7 and 11, it says, "Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did in like manner with their enchantments." All right. "For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods, and he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh had said." All right. So again, just like in the days of old, going way back to Pharaoh in ancient Egypt, during the time of Moses and Aaron, Um, when Moses and Aaron, presented themselves, and they, showcased, the spiritual power. On the right hand, you had Pharaoh, gather up his wise men, and they try to, conjure up some, spiritual wickedness on the left hand. All right, and it didn't save them. All right, this is the same basis for Esau. They have their witches and warlocks. All right, they're modern day scientists and magicians. All right, they come up with all these different schemes and cast all these spells and satanic rituals. It's nothing new. All right, this is where Esau they get their program. They get all their they get the whole regime from. You know, um, it's the same thing. You go to what is that? Esther 1:13. It says, "Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment." So again, this is um um the king Ahasuerus. Yeah, King Ahasuerus. All right, and um you know, I mean, like I said, it's nothing. I mean, this is nothing new. Pretty much, every kingdom in their time, they had these set of wise men. All right, and again, they dealt heavily with this witchcraft and wickedness on the left hand, spirits on the left hand. All right, this is something that's been going on for generations. All right, um, but just touching on going back to Daniel's, touching on Nebuchadnezzar again. Let's start at verse 1. Daniel's 2:1. It says, "In the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans." You see that? "For to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king." So again, these Chaldeans, all right, or pretty much these high priests on the left hand, all right, um, which again, is no different today. All right, Esau, he has this set of magicians. All right, and every so often, they Esau, the top wicked elites, they call up these meetings. They summit these meetings. They get together. They do all these rituals and things of that nature. All right. So that's why pretty much Esau, since being that he wants to be like the Most High, he's trying to do away with everything that the Most High set up. Try to do away with all the ordinances of the Most High and come up with his own little, you know, come up with his own things. All right, which is nothing but poison. All right, just showed you that in Revelations. The pharmacy. I'm gonna get that one more time. Revelations 18, because again, this whole thing is based off of, this whole foundation of America is based off witchcraft. All right, and, that includes all his his little medicines and everything that he dishes out. It's all witchcraft. Um, what was that? Revelations 18:23. Just going back to this definition where it said what was it, the pharmacia or pharmakia, all right, the sorceries, the pharmakia. Just going back to this definition again. All right, for the use of the ministering of drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magic arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. All right, so these things are very real. Again, this is where they get the name, the pharmacy. All right, and all these different pharmaceutical companies. It's nothing but witchcraft at the end of the day. All right, um, you know, through his words, um, Esau, put the spell on all, is putting the spell on, these docile, dumb-minded, simple-minded, American citizens, and they're gonna roll with it. They're gonna, flock with what he says because they trust in their daddy Esau. You know, um, a lot of people, they're gonna take that vaccine, but even more so, um, you know, that chip when Esau starts rolling it out, you know, because again, you know, Esau with Esau's his witchcraft, right? You know, he beguiles the people, man. You know that he's that old serpent that was in the garden with Eden. I mean, excuse me, in the garden with Eve. You know, he's that old serpent. All right, subtle than any beast. All right. So you know this whole system of this whole system of this witchcraft. I mean, it's nothing new, man. All right. You know, Esau. You know, he's the devil, and this is why Yahweh Shai has to take him out of power. All right. You know, this whole place needs to be purged with fire. All right. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Yahweh Ratazah, you were edified, and with that, I give all acknowledgement to Yahweh Shemel Shai, and of course double honors to my teachers, beginning with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And until next time, I say Shalom.